Hovering. I see a person, another person, leading.
Hovering, leading, supporting. I always say connecting because I feel like it's trying to establish a connection. So you kind of get the idea of, hopefully in your, I just try to pull from the experiences you guys have had, that you can see the mentoring component as the why. We're trying to help kids, build their social skills, build their self-esteem, be able to work with people and be creative about how they solve problems. And we do it, the how is the art. The art provides the vehicle in order for us to build relationships. So that's kind of to give you a framework for it. So I can really quickly go over our programs, and then I can show you some of the pictures from our programs. The website is a great resource because it has everything you want to know about, who we are, who our staff is, how do we run our programs, how do you get involved as a volunteer. So anything that I miss here, it's really detailed on the website. But the volunteer brochure, and I don't have them, but I see you guys definitely do. It's okay. So that brochure goes over all of the programs that we have, and there are, I guess, our headlining program or the signature program that we do is the weekly mentor program, and it is an academic year-long creative arts program for kids ages 6 to 12, and it's kind of in this. I kind of talked about the scenario before of a small group of kids, a couple of volunteers, and a facilitator. That's this group. That's how it runs. And there's groups. There's about 22 groups all over the city. Each of them meets on a weekly basis from October to May. So there's a fall, winter semester, and then a winter, spring, kind of like your academic semesters. And the groups are about 10 or 12 kids in the same age. They do theme-based art programs. So I think this spring's theme is going to be community-based arts, and it's called Home is Where the Art Is. So it's all, we kind of looked around the city and tried to find artwork that was public and that kids would recognize in their own community, and they're doing projects based on that. And if there's anything, it's multimedia, so the kids are engaging with as many kind of visual arts media as we can come up with that we can also afford and make sure we have quality materials for them. So when I was a mentor, we worked with such things. We worked with clay, we worked with collage, we worked with wire, we worked with recycled materials and cardboard and stuff that they could find in their own homes, and paints and Mod Podge and glue. So everything that we can fit into 3 bins and send it somewhere, we will try to make sure that kids have access to all of those different materials. So the groups meet for an hour and a half, and they'll do a little warm-up, a game to get them, focused and ready for the group. They spend about the majority of the time, maybe 45, 50 minutes actually making the art project, and then they spend the last 10 minutes in discussion. So trying to get out, that's where a lot of the learning happens between the kids and between the kids and the mentors is in that discussion period, because they're the facilitators and volunteers are all trained to do what's called aesthetic education, which is, it's a huge, aesthetic education. It's sounds like this funky academic term, but it's really just what you guys, I'm sure, have learned as art students is, you can't, how do you talk about somebody's art in a non-judgmental way, in a way that, is critical and gives them feedback. For example, your piece is really, it has a lot of angles, it has, you use really bright colors versus saying I really don't like that, or what I like about your piece, or I don't like, putting it in that it's good, it's bad, it's right, it's wrong, kind of getting outside of that language. Because if we stay in there, it's not that, we're not really doing any self-development, it's just that you're, it's all about what I think about your piece versus what, what did you do and why did you create it. So we really focus on that, non-judgmental language. And I think that, how else can I talk about that? I mean, we have groups in Brooklyn are in Flatbush, they're in Bed-Stuy, and they're in Park Slope. So there's 3 groups here. There's one at PS 269, which is really close to this to the school actually. And that's it. And their program's in the evening and the afternoon, and they sort of take breaks for holidays throughout the year, and then it's, again, that full academic year-long program. The other programs are a family program, so it's very similar group mentoring model, but the Parents and Children Together with Art program is for families, about 4 to 6 families, to make art together for 8 weeks. And the whole project, the what do you call it? The flow of the projects is that they're going from making individual pieces to working on collaborative pieces as a family. So there's a lot of...
That's the coach one?
That's where the volunteers really, they're kind of more coaches and facilitators rather than mentors, because there's parents in the program. So it kind of becomes tricky when you're 23 and a parent in your group is 23, and like, are you mentoring them? Not exactly. You're probably, but what you are doing is giving them communication tools to work together, or being a facilitator. So you're noticing, are 3 of the family members all working on the project and one person is not? Like, are they not involved? Or is one person dominating the project and you might need to be there to sort of, hey, I see that, 3 of the kids are making their own projects and you're working on the family project. What's up with that? And kind of redirecting and giving advice versus, talking one-on-one with any of the group members. So the family program is, I thought some projects that are from the past program. Just to give you an example, because it's a hard one to visualize. And I should mention, all of the families present however they present. So families include like foster families, it includes families with grandparents and kids, or a single parent and kids, or 2 parents and 1 kid, and 5 kids and 2 parents, and however they show up is how we take them. That definitely means family. But this is like we do a global family curriculum, and this is, we always do something about, an American culture. We go around the world and travel and see different cultures. So this is a Native American totem pole that every family member makes part of the totem and like stacks it up on top of the other. And so I'm trying to imagine is that like a peacock or something on the bottom? I don't know. But it looks like some kind of wolf-like creature on the top. And then there's a bird on the bottom. So something about these 2 animals. You can see the family was in a process where it's probably early in the PACT program, because they didn't have to, they could each make separate pieces and then stick them together. So that's like an early project. And this one, which is a book, it's a flipbook of pictures, is probably a little later in the program, because they had to decide, we always have, since Polaroid's going under, I don't know how we're going to work this, but we usually use Polaroids and take pictures of families and actually put them in the projects. But this is like an example of a closing project they might do, is make something that they can really, show off their family in and keep it in their house and show it to people. So if you want to take a look at these, you're welcome to.